Todd and Erin Morning Stream, getpartdaily.com.
Okay, I can't say it.
We're going to tell you later about these and about the fact that Amazon has just recalled.
There are some bad glasses.
Bad glasses out there. And unless you want a seeing eye dog, and who doesn't like dogs, you might want to be listening about that coming up. Shall we go to the mountain?
Okay, first of all, I think that we should mention that Taylor Swift crushed a wacky morning DJ. I'm excited to talk about that.
Lottery, how to win it, guaranteed. One guy did.
Salt Lake County Sheriff, the new sheriff, is a woman. I'm so happy.
Willie Nelson is alive and well.
I thought he was dead. Well, no, I don't mean it in a mean way. It's the Morning Mountain Cam brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. That is electric plumbing, heating, and air. I don't mean it in a mean way. I just thought he was...
Like years ago?
Well, yeah. It's been a while. I don't mean that in a negative way. All right, let's move on because this is actually very cool. 1,000 people gathered on the lawn of the Salt Lake City County building last night. This is a pretty cool thing. It was calls to thwart white supremacy, support communities of color, prevent neo-Nazis from ever convening in Salt Lake. And I had actually received a notice on our neighborhood bulletin board, digital board, that saying that...
Do we have a picture of this?
The neo-Nazis had actually managed to infiltrate the website.
They're all different colors.
Isn't that exciting? Who knew?
What is going on in this world?
It was interesting. I mean, there were two technically different ones, and more political leaders spoke at both. Cox, of course, Spencer Cox, our lieutenant governor, said, if you move towards violence, justice will be swift and certain. Don't make that mistake. He said, for the rest of us, let us lead with love. And there were really cool signs like your silence is your compliance, stop white terror, solidarity creates change. And that's really true. And it's basically everybody wanted to do something positive in regards to the violence. Saturday in Charlottesville, and the brutality of everything that happened there. Now, Attorney General Sean Reyes, who we both adore, made appearances. He told the first audience that as a son of immigrant parents, he would lay at night wondering if his family's home would be burned down because they weren't welcome in their neighborhood. And Rabbi Alina Schwartzman of the Salt Lake congregation said that she graduated from the University of Virginia 16 years ago. She's descended from Jews who escaped Nazi Germany. She has a 3-month-old daughter, and the violence made her too afraid to bring her daughter to hear her speech Monday night, because she wasn't sure that something would happen here. And the LDS Church released a statement Sunday that I thought that was really good. They said, violence illustrates the growing intolerance in our country. He said, people of any faith or of no faith at all should be troubled by the increase of intolerance in both words and actions that we're seeing everywhere. And they referred back to a speech that was given 10 years ago by the late church president Gordon B. Hinckley, who I adored, who said, those who disparage another's race cannot be considered true disciples of Christ. So it was an interesting series of rallies.
Last female who spoke?
That was the rabbi, Elena Schwartzman.
Imagine what was going on. Her parents escaped the Nazis, and here they are, again.
You know, it's been a really interesting year for this, and you see this in a lot of protests of people who have been through this 20, 30, 40 years ago, and they're protesting going, I thought we got rid of this crap.
Yeah.
I thought this part was over and we could do something else.
Already.
And it keeps popping up again.
You told me a story earlier about a dad.
Oh.
Now, we told a story yesterday about the fact that there's a guy online, a guy on Twitter, who's collecting pictures of the Nazis and the white supremacists and stuff.
Yeah, his handle is, yes, you're racist.
And he's putting up portraits of each one and asking the question, does this person work for you? Is this your son, your husband, your daughter? Do you pray with this person? And all these questions, and some people actually have been turned in and have been fired.
This one's pretty brutal. This gentleman saw his son's picture, I guess, in a very angry expression on his face, torches behind him on Twitter, and he wrote an open letter to the media, and this is what he said.
Imagine.
He said, my name is Pierce Teft, and I'm writing to you all in regards to my youngest son, Peter Teft, who's an avowed white nationalist, who's been featured in a number of local news stories over the last several months. On Friday night, my son traveled to Charlottesville, Virginia, and was interviewed by a national news outlet while marching with reported white nationalists who allegedly went on to kill a person. I, along with all of his siblings and his entire family, wish to loudly repudiate my son's vile, hateful, and racist rhetorics and actions. We do not know specifically where he learned these beliefs. He did not learn them at home. He said, I've shared my home and hearth with friends and acquaintances of every race, gender, and creed. I've taught all of my children that men and women are created equal and that we must love each other all the same. Evidently, Peter has chosen to unlearn these lessons, much to me and my family's heartbreak and distress. We've been silent up until now, but now we see this was a mistake. It was the silence of good people that allowed the Nazis to flourish the first time around. And it's the silence of good people that is allowing them to flourish now. Peter Taft, my son, is not welcome at our family gatherings any longer. I pray my prodigal son will renounce his hateful beliefs and return home, and I will gladly lay out the feast. His hateful opinions are bringing hateful rhetoric to his siblings, cousins, nieces, and nephews, as well as his parents. We wish that we were not guilty by association. None of his beliefs were learned here at home. We do not, never have, and never will accept his twisted worldview. My son once joked, the thing about us fascists is, it's not that we don't believe in freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. We'll just throw you in an oven. Peter, you will have to shovel our bodies in the oven too. Please, son, renounce the hate and accept and love all. Can you imagine being the dad? I mean, everything you've tried to teach our kids.
Right.
Everything. And have to write that letter.
I've watched some people on CNN, some guys who had gotten caught up in it and were white supremacists and were just like, I mean, gung-ho, shaved heads, boot stomping, you know. And they were on CNN, but they realized what they were doing and it's changed. And they changed.
So they'd actually talked to reform members of
the
neo-Nazi
they said,
groups.
what happened? He goes, I have no idea. He goes, I just started getting into it. And next thing you know, it was my social clique. Next thing you know, I was shaving my head and discriminating and being a bigot and all this stuff and beating people up. And he was there, and I was amazed. And, you know, he's like 35, 40 years old.
That takes a lot of courage to have to admit that now.
Oh, my gosh. And it was amazing. So hopefully some will turn, but good grief.
I hope so, too. All right, on to better news. This is good news. Salt Lake County has made its choice for the sheriff to replace Jim Winder. You know, he left his position mid-term, went down to Moab, said, I'm not up for the violence anymore. I'm not strong enough to handle this.
Right.
Rosie Rivera is the chief of the Unified Police Department in Riverton, and she's going to be the new Salt Lake County sheriff for the next 16 months after her official approval Tuesday by the Salt Lake City Council.
Yeah.
And they're going to say no. This woman is epic. I mean, seriously. This is going to make her the first female and Latina to fill the position. She goes, it's going to be a smooth transition, she said. We're going to ensure that there's equal rights, equal justice, and equal opportunity for everyone. She said, we'll hire, we'll retain, and we'll make opportunities for everybody who wants to serve.
Very cool.
I like this woman. I'm so excited for her. I think she's going to do some really cool things.
I know a lot of people who say that celebrities do stuff for popularity or whatever and stuff. Bruno Mars, who I like.
Oh, he's adorable.
It's like,
are you kidding? Look at that
party,
face.
fun music. Anyway, so he's in Michigan. He was doing a show outside of Detroit, and he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop $1 million on the Flint water issue. This is the issue where the pipes got corroded on the drinking water.
City officials knew, and they're allowing children to be poisoned.
And lead went in, which has huge effect on learning, on speech development.
Profoundly damaging effect on any kind of cognitive function.
So he's in for $1 million. And other stars are going and helping out as well, too. Anyway, I thought that you got to admire that.
And didn't he throw a concert and he said, just come by and donate some money if you can. He said, you're welcome to come to the concert. I just want you there.
Dave Chappelle also did $50,000 when he couldn't make the fundraiser.
That's very cool.
Just, you know, helping each other out.
All right. Speaking of celebrity, this just makes me excited because Taylor Swift had to go through a lot. She was only 23 years old 3 years ago when she did a radio meet and greet in Colorado.
No, this is the butt.
23. And this 51-year-old wacky morning DJ scumbag named David Mueller reached up underneath her skirt and grabbed her bare bottom, squeezing with his hand, and she's trying to get away from him, and she didn't want to freak out any of her fans and lose it.
Right.
And she's also 23, and this 51-year-old scumbag's grabbing at her.
Right.
His girlfriend is on the other side of the picture, and she's got her arms up. She can't even knock her arms away.
Classy.
The jury just returned a full verdict for her.
Oh, really? I can't wait to see how much.
Completely repudiated
her.
How
much?
And, you know, he had tried to sue her for $3 million, claiming he had lost his job because of her. She wanted a symbolic $1. I'm like, girl, you should at least make her pay your attorney's fees. No, but she was amazing. She said, I'm not going to let you or your client make me feel like this was my fault, because it isn't. She said, I'm being blamed for the unfortunate events of his life that are a product of his decisions and not mine. At one point, Mueller's attorney pointed to a photo of I'm sorry, I've seen the photo. You can tell what he's doing. You can see the sleazy expression on his face. And his attorney had the nerve to go, well, you can see the front hem of your skirt's not raised, so he couldn't. And she goes, my bottom is located on the back half of my body. And afterwards, Mueller had the nerve to call her cold. Well, she's cold and unfeeling. And she said, I have an uncanny ability to elicit new types of criticism. Sorry, if you think that her suing you for assaulting her sexually is cold, then that's... Wow, I hope I'm cold and horrible too. So anyway, it was neat. There was a lot of really positive response.
I'm kind of disappointed.
On Twitter, Kesha said, I support you always, especially right now. You know, she had her own sexual harassment suit. Right. And one was really disappointing. Several other singers like Rachel Platten and Nelly Furtado said, I've been in several radio meet and greets where radio staff attempted to cross the line. Oh. That makes me feel so good about the industry that we just came from. Right. And you know, you were never that guy, but I put up with endless amounts of sexual harassment before we got together, and I feel kind of bad now. I was telling a friend last night that it stopped instantly when you and I got together. And it's kind of like, I feel like I kind of hid behind a man, but it was nice not to have to put up with that crap anymore. Right. But there's a myriad of guys who think that behavior is appropriate. And you were never that man.
I don't think a lot of men understand the pressure on a day-to-day basis, you know, about that. Well, I mean, I remember one of the receptionists that we had over at Media, Broadway, I said, I suddenly realized, I said, because she used to dress up, right? Mm-hmm. She looked really nice.
Really pretty.
But she was dressing up to be at the office, not the transition from her house to the office. And that's where she fell into that where she was being observed, you know what I mean?
Hooting and hollering, people
not by friends, not by friends. And her job was to get to work without being, you know, catcalled and put in that situation.
It's incredibly
Which I didn't even think about, unfortunately.
That's because you're a decent human being and you don't treat women like that. But anyway, good for Bruno Mars. I'm so proud of Taylor Swift that she stood up to him and went, no, we're not gonna do this. And I'm glad, and I hope he languishes in obscurity for the rest of his miserable life as a clerk at 7-Eleven.
I'm a little disappointed.
In what way?
Because she should have said, okay, I want his toaster.
If you're gonna do it, make it fun.
You got a weed eater? I'm taking it. I mean, something obscure, you know? One of his hubcaps on his car, just two of them. And then, I don't know, it's just such a great opportunity to make him a goof.
Something really random and weird, something troubling.
Your eyebrows. I just want your eyebrows.
Shave them off.
Not shave, we're going to wax them.
Laser hair removal. You'll never have eyebrows again.
Okay, this is a great thing. And this NASA, show me an outer space shot, would you please?
That's outer space.
The space station, and this story has to do with the Russians. There's 2 cosmonauts up there.
Okay.
Yeah, and his name is, we're going to call them Bob and Chuck. Okay, so Bob and Chuck are Russian, and they are going into space, and they are going to show a spacewalk. The entire thing.
That would be cool.
It'll be really cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Except for, it's going to be 6 hours long. So
some of the drama does wear off after the first, 20 minutes.
I won't watch a 3-minute YouTube video. So you're going to get, there's going to be a lot of this. Okay, so it's like, whoa. 6 hours of that.
I feel like I've almost seen it just by watching you right now. It was really cool.
It was like in
the sound effects.
Space. Okay, so, yeah.
Well, it's still cool. They're trying to reach out and they're trying to interest the younger group. And this is what it's like. This is the process.
Time lapse it for the big moments because they're going to put a new handle on something on the outside. So that'd be like a big moment for 6 hours. Seriously, after 2 minutes, people are like, okay, that's really cool.
Really, that's great.
Where are the playing kitties? Where's that going on?
The singing cats. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to Daisy in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. If you go online to Fink-McGregor, you can take the 4-minute mortgage challenge. Find out kind of where you're at and what your options are. That's fink-mcgregor.com. Also by Executive Transportation, the limo sponsors official of the Todd and Erin morning stream. March can take you anywhere in one of his sweet Escalades. All you have to do is go to executiveutah.com to book your ride. And then, of course, All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. You can reach them at allutahplumbing.com. From renovations to simple repairs. They're your guys. Good morning, Daisy, my darling. What is going on?
Hello everyone, here's what's making headlines Tuesday, August 15th on GephartDaily.com. A body found Sunday in the waters of Mill Creek has been identified as that of missing American folkman Paul Swenson. Swenson, a husband and father of an infant daughter, disappeared more than 2 weeks ago after leaving his home for a meeting in Salt Lake City. He had not been heard from since. A statement by the South Salt Lake Police Department said Swenson's body was positively identified by the medical examiner's office. The cause of death has yet to be determined, but police no longer suspect foul play. It was emotional light in downtown Salt Lake City, where thousands attended an anti-racism rally at the City County building. The demonstration was prompted by the deadly turn of events in Charlottesville, Virginia last weekend, and the seeming reluctance of Donald Trump to disavow the white supremacists who organized the neo-Nazi rally there. Speakers in Salt Lake stressed the importance of unity and resistance in fighting a rising tide of racial intolerance in the U.S. in the wake of Trump's election. A second, smaller rally was held by Republicans on the steps of the Utah State Capitol earlier in the evening. And law enforcement agencies from across Utah are taking part in a major crackdown on drug dealers in Salt Lake's Rio Grande area. 100 officers from Salt Lake City, the Utah Highway Patrol, and Unified PD took part in Monday's state-sanctioned police action. Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox said the targeted drug arrests are the first step in a three-part plan to deal with the state's homeless crisis. He said the next steps will focus on offering aid to the homeless to help them become self-sufficient. And now let's look at the Wasatch Front forecast, where you can expect a bit of a cold snap Tuesday with high temps only hitting the upper 70s. And yes, that's right, I am absolutely in heaven. We'll be a tad warmer Wednesday and Thursday before climbing back into the 90s by the weekend. A chance of rain each day, especially in the later afternoons. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy. You know, it's funny, we just barely cut the series of new commercials for Fink and McGregor, and so we had Jeff Stout, who's the owner and big guy there. We're sitting in like 127-degree heat on a park bench, and we're all talking, waiting for them to set up the shot. And he was telling us about some of the most random possible mortgages ever that you can get. And it's stuff like USDA. They have a mortgage. It's for rural people. There's a couple of different ones for veterans that they may or may not know about. There's a couple that really pretty much everybody qualifies for.
You can buy a house with a 6.0 credit score.
600.
600, right?
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
So I mean, that was so cool, because just a lot of people have this dream, and you think, I can't do it. I'm not ready. I wish they'll never give me one. You'd be surprised at the opportunities that are open if you just take a look. So the nice thing to do is just to go to think-mcgregor.com. If you go online, you can take a super simple, like 4-minute thing. It asks you questions, and then after 4 minutes, it pops up some ideas for you. And then if you like, they'll call you within one business day and go through it with you. So you get to do it like within on average of a month. You don't pay millions of billions of dollars in closing costs the way you do with certain organizations that I will not mention. And Jeff takes care of you. It's really simple. So it's think-mcgregor.com. And when they say mortgages made simple, he's really not joking. They're totally simple.
Even we can do it.
All right, this is kind of cool.
Tell me something good.
Yes. I love the idea of this sort of anonymous group of elders sort of watching over the kids in their community.
Okay.
And in this particular case, it happens to be a wealthy group of elderly, which is a really handy thing, because they're called the Secret Alumni Yellow Jacket Society. And
Sounds like a gang to me.
Their job is to be who they feel are the caretakers of the kids in Fredonia, Kansas. Now, the trouble is, in this city, it's pretty rough. They said that they've got a ridiculous amount of kids who are under the poverty level. I mean, just a ridiculous amount. And so 78% of the kids are on financial assistance there.
What? Excuse me?
78% of the kids in Fredonia, Kansas. So they said, this is our job to help. He said, the president works as a scientist at a university medical center. There's a lot of other people there who said are very successful. He said, we never release our names because we don't need to impress anyone. We don't want the recognition. We just want to respond when someone tells us there's a need. So they work with different teachers and counselors at the high schools and the junior highs. They find out kind of where things are lacking.
Right.
At one high school,
they just help support the programs.
Yeah.
Right?
So they said, we purchased sports shoes for kids who want to try out for sports. We get teaching aids for teachers. We get software for the school district that they can't afford. One of the things that I adored, 4 of the members spent $42,000 on a clothing closet, and it's much like the one they have up at East High School because of their homeless population there, where they put it in one of the centrally located high schools so that all the kids could go there, and they wanted it to be a cool place, like well organized and decorated like a store, and then give the kids items that they needed to go and be confident. And we've talked about this a million times before, that if you look like the other kids, if you feel like you fit in, you're going to stay in longer. And I know about individuality and be yourself and blah, 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 but that's hard to do if you're wearing a pair of pants from the 70s.
And you're living in a car.
Yeah. And so I adore the idea of what they did here. But they said our goal is, they said, the only reason we talked to the media, because they got contacted, is we're kind of hoping that maybe elders in other cities will step up and do the same thing. And this was the cutest part. He goes, one of our members suggested that we all get robes to wear in our secret meetings. And he said, I thought that was a little over the top.
Illuminati.
I just thought it was so sweet.
Just a backstory on East High. They have 60, last year they had 60 homeless kids were going to school.
And a lot of extremely at-risk, financially at-risk youth.
They took one of the locker rooms that no one was using in the basement, and they set it all up so they could come and take showers. They could wash their clothes, brush their teeth, because a lot of that doesn't happen in their situation.
They had phones there so they could make phone calls, because if you can't afford a cell phone, and a lot of these kids were taking care of younger siblings.
Right.
They may not have parents. There are a lot of refugee
kids.
Great
program.
And so same thing. They have a food closet there as well, where they can get food to take home to their brothers and sisters. It was just a wonderful program.
I decided yesterday I'm going to put my foot down about this Christopher's Steakhouse thing that we're doing.
What's that?
That we should go as quality control and have dinner there, because I'm sick of seeing this. Other people eating delicious food.
Unfair. I know.
We love you so much for watching. We really do. And you've surprised everyone, especially us and our moms. So for watching, we want to say thank you very much. Oh, look at the food.
Someone was texting me this taunting close-up of their ribeye steak. I was like, I'm so happy for you. I'm going to have to murder you.
Dirty, rotten.
But here's the deal. You've been watching thus far. You're hearing us talk about Christopher. So right now, if you're on one of our Facebook pages, will you just make a comment? It officially enters you. We see the timestamp that we were talking about Christopher's. You made a comment, you're entered. So it's really that simple. Just say hi. Just say you stink. Say whatever you want. Say I want the prime rib. I don't care.
I'm taking Todd with me to dinner.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? And then you also get limousine service from Executive Transportation, so that you and your 3 friends don't have to worry about parking or a designated driver. You're just all set up.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to tell you the surefire thing to how to win the lottery. Just coming up on Wednesday. Boom, information coming up next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. Fink and McGregor, mortgages made simple. Make sure you go to fink-mcgregor.com and try out their 4-minute mortgage program. It's incredibly easy to find out whether you qualify. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at gephardtdaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
All right, so I'm looking. All right, so I have in my hand the information you need to win the lottery. It's going to be drawn on Wednesday evening.
Yes.
And
haven't had a winner yet.
340 or something.
$7 bazillion.
It doesn't matter. Anything over 3.
Really? Anything over 100 million? I'm like, we're set. Thank you. That's all we need.
Paul just won $1 million.
Get out.
He won $1 million.
How did he do it?
$1 million's not bad.
No, I can live with that.
Well, it's very simple. He's a Michigan guy, and his flight got canceled.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. His flight got canceled.
What
Here
does
he
that
is.
mean exactly?
He's got a mail. So basically, his flight got canceled, so what did he do? He said, screw this, I'm going to rent a car and drive home. And that's what he did.
Oh, okay.
And he stopped along the way.
Oh, he had to get gas and snacks.
He picked up some snacks and a lottery ticket.
We always do that when we're in a state where they're at, just because Zoe and I like to scratch them off.
You know why? Because we like to donate playground equipment to schools everywhere that they have lotteries.
That's really noble, baby.
That's what they do there. Erin is always, when you do the scratch things, you are honestly always surprised you don't win.
I'm genuinely offended. I purchased the tickets. I purchased them. Why didn't I win?
Because it's a lottery.
You can so tell I'm from Utah. It's so sad. Really, the first time we went back to Boston, and I was so angry, and he's looking at me like, what is wrong with you?
But you don't just buy a ticket and win something.
I'm so from Utah.
It's not like one of those school fairs where you have the fishing rod, you put it over the blanket, and then on the other side someone attaches a prize to your string, and it always works. It's not like that.
Fine.
All right, so we're going to go buy tickets today.
Yes.
And we are going to go.
Road trip.
Now, this is important. Do you go to Idaho? You go to Evanston. And as we've been told by an expert at this, you go to Evanston. And the reason is fireworks. Besides that,
cheap booze.
You cannot. You can be anonymous.
Meaning, once you win, you don't have to do the big.
You have to stand like that guy did with a big old check.
So that all of his friends can come out of the woodwork and ask for a
gosh,
loan.
they're waiting for you when you get home. They're already there with their hands out.
I want to be anonymous. It's like,
right?
You don't know anything.
You just want to be that person who just walks into a cafe, has a cup of coffee, and then just boom, lays $100 on,
I want to be like the secret society that buys sports equipment and new software.
Only if I can get a cape. I get a cape, I'll be good. So
really?
Evan, so we're gonna go. So the question is, how much? How much are we gonna spend?
We have to get a certain amount for listeners because I thought it'd be fun if we gave some of these away tomorrow morning on the show.
Just the losing tickets. Let's give them away Thursday.
What is wrong with you?
All right, we're going to tell you a secret. Okay?
So we'll give some away tomorrow morning on the show. So if you win, you better buy us something nice.
Let's tell them that secret.
What's the secret?
Come in close. Okay. So here's the secret.
Okay.
If you go to Evanston and everyone goes to that Maverick store right there on the corner, and there's always a big long line. You can hear me, right? So there's a big long line. But if you go down the main street and up onto the hill, and just over the hill on the right-hand side, there's a hotel. And in the hotel,
that's right,
there's a bar. And before you enter
liquor store.
The bar, there is like a coat closet, and they sell the tickets there. And we went there, and there wasn't even a line. There.
Nice.
Don't tell anybody. So how much are we going to buy?
We just cracked 1.6 million views of the show, right? So probably a few people might have heard that.
Yeah, we're going sooner than they are.
Okay.
Because we don't have a real job.
You win. All right. Do you want to talk about this? The 3 times humanity almost went into extinction?
I'm really worried about this story.
It's eerie. I like it, though.
I'm worried about it.
How can you not be fascinated with the 3 times that our entire civilization almost toppled into the brink? That's cool.
Because I think it's heavily scientific as opposed to entertaining.
Maybe we have a lot of smart monkeys in the audience who feel like they would be capable of understanding this.
Coco like kitty. All right, so here are the men. Here's men through evolution. There you go. All right, so basically here are the 3 things that almost killed off the human beings off the face of the earth, which means we wouldn't be here right now. All right, 1.2 million years ago.
Okay.
Basically, this is we were exclusively Homo sapiens. All right, so Homo sapiens, and what happened is we started spreading out too far.
Okay.
We were adventurous. We started going. So the gene pool got kind of weird, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, there's no standard, right? And then so it keeps getting there was only 18,000 breeding people at the time. And I can't imagine what they smelled like. And that's kind of a mood breaker.
So it's really more like a loosely grouped collection of genetics versus like a standard. Yeah,
this isn't like they didn't have beer to make everybody look better. They were on their own.
Wow.
And so
it's a miracle that the population flourished, let's be honest.
But I had no idea. That's the size of all the gorillas in the world. The troops of gorillas.
That's scary.
But the gorillas are all in one continent. Homo sapiens were all over the place. Number 2. How am I doing? Is this okay?
It's pretty cool.
Okay. Number 2, 150,000 years ago, or for the creationists, 5,000 years ago, man was right. Homo sapiens and the big chill. Oh my gosh. It became winter. The high temperature stopped. It was like global cooling.
Well, yeah, but then you can't find crops. The animals can't find crops, so they start dying off. How long did it last for?
Birth rates went fine because everybody's cuddling to stay warm. And then from there, it went into the desert stage where everything dried up. So
they're like, really?
We're
really
screwed. It's amazing we're still here. And then 70,000 years ago, and this deals with Homo erectus, which every time my junior high teacher said, we would crack up. To the point where she would not say it. She goes, and those other ones, we still knew what she was saying. We cracked up. We are so mature.
That poor woman.
You know why?
You're 14. What
and
else can
immature.
You do? Yeah,
that's right.
It's 14.
The Toba explosion. This is like a volcano thing that happened. And basically, you hear the stories of the asteroids hitting and the sky turns black and stuff like that.
Yeah, because of all the dust and everything. So, yeah.
This was not a volcano. This was a big happening. Like chunks of the world, boom. And they say it darkened the sky for 6 years.
Why were they doing that?
Volcanoes don't care. They just went off.
So it was multiple ones.
Oh yeah, everywhere. It was crazy. 6 years. It made the.
We've never heard of that before.
The first time I did, and so.
6 years. It's a miracle they all managed to stay alive.
Plants died. Certain plants
died.
Yeah,
you can't get sun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Once again, almost didn't happen.
Who knew that we were here just by a thread?
Right. Too scientific.
You thought that we were all busy killing each other now, and we had nuclear opportunities.
Right.
They just had natural selection and science.
Just wanted to breed more.
That's really sad.
Well, it's fairly similar to what. Okay, let's move on. Where are we?
You haven't really improved since junior high school, have you? Not in the maturity, not in the slightest.
No.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't being mean when I said, is he still alive? I just was surprised. Well, no, there's certain celebrities, I'm sure I'm not the only one, where you find out that they're still breathing and you're shocked because you had assumed that somewhere along the line they had passed and you maybe missed the obituaries, right?
Back on track.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So he is still alive. When Janet Jackson canceled her tour to come to Salt Lake.
Twice.
People are, Janet Jackson, we don't like her anymore. And then when other people cancel, there is a certain amount of anger.
Well, you get your tickets, you're all excited, you get a babysitter.
Certain amount, and they cancel, so you cancel the babysitter, you don't go. But what if you went to the concert, and you had the babysitters, and you were there, and you were sitting, you sauna.
You're getting into it, you're starting to sway,
and you're like,
clapping.
Except you don't do this when Willie Nelson comes
really
on stage.
Uh-uh.
No. So he comes on stage, crowd goes crazy, and then he starts playing, and everybody's like, yeah, we're digging Willie, we're digging the Willie. And then fifth song, and he stops. He just stops.
Really?
Yeah, he was sick. And he bowed to the audience, he took his hat off, and he threw it into the crowd and left. And one of the band members came up and explained what was going on. And basically they said altitude sickness.
Which, unlike some people in the control booth, I know is real because it actually can be fatal.
So the point being is that's the first time he's been high that he couldn't perform. Get the elevator. So anyway, what I was going to tell you. That
actually was a really good pot joke.
He's 82. He's 82. You could sneeze and soil yourself. You're 82. So I think he's been doing really well. And so, but the big surprise was everyone was like, "Oh, I hope he's okay."
Well,
everyone was like really nice
about it. He's 82.
Screw you, Willie Nelson. No, everybody was just like, "Oh, I hope he's okay. I hope he's better." Who doesn't believe about altitude sickness?
Richard.
Mount Everest, it killed people.
Dude, seriously.
Seriously, dude.
Seriously, dude.
Dude, right? We had my sister-in-law come and go up to our cabin in Park City and turned into a mess.
Yeah.
Was throwing up outside our windows of our cars.
We couldn't figure out what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was altitude sickness. It had nothing to do with food poisoning or anything like that. It was altitude sickness. So it does affect it. It is a real thing.
Oxygen is an issue. You need some. And if you don't get as much...
Oh my God!
Now... Really?
Yeah. You're too short to have altitude sickness.
That was a good one.
Touche.
You're going to pay for that later, but that was a good one.
I'm going to pay for it now. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh, I have to tell you. I didn't tell you this. I got a secret for you.
Really?
I started a business that you don't know about. No one knows about it because it's marketed secretly. And I'm going to unveil it right now. Okay, hang on.
You started a business.
Yeah.
All right.
Started a business. And it's really going well. I don't know if you can see this. Hang on 1 second. It's not going to work close, is it? No. Okay.
Further back.
There, right there. It says Todd's Pit Seasoning.
Wow.
Todd's Pit Seasoning. You should get yours today. It's really going fast. I know. You get it today.
That doesn't seem like the right advertising slogan to me.
It's great.
Because that sounds like some sort of unnaturally exotic underarm.
Yeah, a couple sprinkles, you walk around smelling like brisket. And it's very popular with the women. So I'm going to say Todd's Pit Seasoning right there. I'm going to put that right there, product placement. There you go. All right, what do we have coming up?
Oh, by the way, Jill and Wendy say that their video keeps buffering, guys, just so you know.
Maybe
Sorry about that. And April says she wants to try your seasoning. She's very excited about that. Excuse me as I get
You'll walk around smelling like beef stew with extra garlic.
Okay. Coming up next, what happens when you find out that you're just the first of 6 women who have been invited out on a date by the same guy in the same night?
In the same night?
It's pretty freaking epic. We'll tell you next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
That was sweet. All right, that's nice. Carol said, okay, yeah, I'll jump. Where can I buy the seasoning?
Todd's Pit Seasoning. It's pits in a can. Do you want to buy it? Really? How many people want to buy it?
It's not really yours. It's not like you're getting the money.
They don't know. I could mark it up 10%. Bank.
All right. I want the story to be savored and enjoyed by women everywhere because we've all had these kind of dates. And actually, guys, you've had these kind of dates too.
Okay.
Lizette Pliant turned 26 over the weekend, and when her friends caught her texting her cheating ex-boyfriend while they were out celebrating, they said, "We are going to take matters into our own hands, and we're going to find you a new boyfriend. There'll be none of this nonsense." So they found a really nice random guy in the bar who was a normal-seeming dude named Justin. Justin bought Pliant a drink, and they made plans for a follow-up date in Washington, D.C. on Monday. So when Pliant met Justin at the bar where her friend Kyle is a bartender, he told her that he had friends meeting him there at 6:15, and she'd been there at 6. She went, "Oh, okay, sure, that's fine." And she was kind of thinking things weren't really going that great anyway. This guy was definitely not much of a feminist. He was carrying a sparkly blue cane, who told me that he had just jumped down a flight of stairs sober in like Atlantic City, and then told me about the cane that, at $23 at CVS, and you can call yourself a pimp. And she's still like, okay. So at 6:15, Justin's second date shows up.
No, wait. So she leaves.
No, she's still there. See, those friends he was meeting, as it turned out, were actually the second date he had scheduled. And when she got wise to Justin's moves, Pliant did 2 things. First, she decided to let the other date know what was up. That's only fair.
Okay.
And then, number 2, she started tweeting live updates. This went viral in a big, big way. Number 1, I show up and he sucks, but I figure I'll stay because my friends are working at the bar. So 15 minutes into his next date, shows up because he double books himself and he decides he's going to friend zone me to get out of the situation, meaning I like you, but I don't like you.
Right.
So we've spent a full 15 minutes and
right.
we go.
We've invested.
So I decide to play the friend in order to help the girl feel less awkward until he exits for a moment, and then I tell him what's up. He actually had the nerve to start his second date while she's sitting there. So he left to take the phone call while Pliant's on the second date. I said, "Are you here on a date with him?" Because I was here on a date with him. So we should probably just go get a drink together and leave this dude here. So they decided to grab another round at the bar across the street when date number 3, who was the person Justin was talking to on the phone, shows up. "We'll call this girl Katie," she tweets. Katie gets in on my quest to make this guy feel like the creep he clearly is, and we chat for 30 minutes, all 3 of us. So Justin leaves again, and we decide at this point that the man must die. Because
evidently he has a bad bladder.
The 2 girls that I have gotten both bartenders and the bouncer in on this now, and we're all taking this guy for all he's worth. He headed for the bathroom, and the 2 women looped in the 4th date, and I think that maybe he was panicking a little at this point. We all decided to be best friends because we enjoyed each other. She says, "I'm stealing his dates and making them my friends, and I am so here for this." So at this point, we formed a coalition, she says. We're making fun of him. He's trying to play it off like he didn't triple book himself. So the 3 women head to the second bar. But meanwhile, two of Plaint's friends have camped out at the first bar to see if Justin had any more women on his dance card for the evening. They were half kidding, but then they texted me and said, dude, he's here with a fourth girl. So one of the friends in the first bar heads across the street, and she happens to cross paths with date number 5, Alexander Woody.
Right.
So Plaint's friend convinced Woody to talk to the other dates before meeting Justin. So now me, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all sitting there together. That's pretty painful. So I go for number 4 and I say, hi, I'm number 5. And he goes, oh no, you've been cut off, and made the hand motion. He said, I never lied to any of you, which was a lie because he said that I was his only date for the evening. So he's got 5 girls standing there.
Well, everyone would assume you're the only date for the evening.
And so he goes, and this is his most helpless defense ever. Look, I just don't want you to think I'm a jerk. You're the only one I wanted to get to know, while the other 4 girls are standing behind her. You seem really great. I don't want you to hate me. And she said, I'm not having any of this. When is date number 6 arriving? Because she's joking, thinking at this point, you know. And I wasn't kidding. I seriously didn't think he'd have a 6th date. So
she shows up.
Yeah. And he says, and as she's sitting there trying to explain it to her, date number 6 walks up. And his excuse is, well, as a project manager, I manage my time efficiently. And he says, you know, I'm looking for love and his future wife, and these aren't dates. They were pre-date conversations. So finally, around 10...
Who's got this much money to buy a drink for all of them?
All the other dates have gone home. This is like a Monday evening, by the way. So Sarah and her friends head back to the Truxton Inn to catch up with one of the bartenders. And then that's where they actually talk to Jessica, who's date number 6.
Right.
And Justin, at this point, probably sensing defeat, has now gone home. And all 6 of the girls are arranging to get together for drinks this weekend and have a nice night dancing out on the town.
Him and his sparkly cane.
And I hate to tell him this, and this is my personal favorite. She said, yeah, there wasn't a 7th or 8th date, maybe, at least not that we know of. But he says maybe he'll feel bad when he wakes up and realizes this is all over the internet. And when we say all over the internet, we mean all over the internet. Her live tweeting session has been retweeted 6 million times.
Also, he's going to be really disappointed when he wakes up and he's alone.
For the rest of his life.
That many dates.
For the rest of your life.
All right, coming up.
Congratulations.
We got information, right?
Well, yeah, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you, of course, by Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you can find out all kinds of information about your potential for mortgages within 4 minutes. Executive Transportation, where March, our beloved friend and official driver of the Todd and Erin Show, will take you anywhere, and literally the man's been anywhere in the country in one of his sweet Escalades. Just book your ride at executiveutah.com. And Black Diamond Experts, they are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air with 24-hour service, because they know emergencies happen 24 hours a day at blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, good morning. What's going on?
Hello, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news headlines for Tuesday, August 15th on GephartDaily.com. Some of the country's top business executives are cutting ties with Donald Trump in the aftermath of his bungled response to the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville last weekend. The heads of Merck Pharmaceuticals, Intel, and Under Armour all quit Trump's manufacturing council Monday after he initially refused to denounce the KKK and neo-Nazis who organized the rally. Trump was quick to criticize the exec's decision, lashing out at Merck's CEO, Kenneth Frazier, by way of Twitter, suggesting he'd now have more time to hold down his company's skyrocketing drug costs. North Korea says it's going to chill for a while, shelving plans, at least temporarily, to launch ballistic missiles towards U.S. bases on Guam. In a statement released Tuesday morning, the North Koreans said they were waiting to see, quote, what the foolish Yankees do next. Pyongyang threatened to attack Guam after an exchange of heated rhetoric between Donald Trump and the North Korean leadership through much of last week. And some sad news out of London today, where it's been revealed that Big Ben will fall silent for nearly 4 years while undergoing some long-needed repairs. The famous clock tower, which stands next to the British Houses of Parliament, will mark the hour for the last time at noon on August 21st. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GephartDaily.com. For now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Oh my gosh,
you,
Big
Daisy.
Ben's going to be quiet for 4 years?
I may be a nerd, but I was so excited that I think that might have been the first thing I went to see when I was in London, because it's so beautiful.
And
it's heart-stopping, it's majestic. And
And I'm not sure if they're stopping it at noon or stopping at midnight, but isn't that a little freaky? 4 years, they're doing some maintenance.
Really? You have to go conspiracy theorist on this?
That's a lot of maintenance.
Apparently so. It's a very, very old clock tower.
4 years.
But it is kind of sad.
All
right. Black Diamond, I was just telling you about them, but here's one of the things I like about them a lot. They're like the steady eddies in this industry, because I know it's easy to get a lot of random quotes and, yeah, that's broken and that's broken. And I'm paranoid because I don't know a lot of how things work in my house. And if Todd isn't there to go, oh, it's this and this, and I have to call an expert, I get paranoid. Well, these guys show up and they're licensed, bonded, and insured. They come to the house, they go through your system, they tell you what's going on, they give you a bid. What you pay at the end is exactly what the bid was. There's no hidden fees, there's no little special last minute cost, there's no nasty surprises. They do what they tell you they're going to do. They do it well, they do it to your satisfaction, and then they go. And they're nice guys. I mean, it's a really nice thing to know that just about anything that can go wrong can be fixed by them. And with 24-hour service, they understand that if there's an emergency, they got to be there for you. So it's pretty simple. If you want to get some quotes, you want to get some ideas, you need to get something fixed, just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. That's blackdiamondexpert.com.
We, with our family, we went up to East Canyon yesterday. And
my brother Kelly has all the epic toys.
He's got some toys for the water, and everybody had a great time. The nieces and nephews were there.
That was fun.
Zoe loved it. Zachy loved it. I want to know, though, what you, the sisters, the three of the sisters who were there.
Jenny and Julie?
Yeah. What the hell did you do to your brother that made him so mad when you were growing up? Because Kelly's driving the boat, and he puts the three girls, the three women, on one of those, a tube, basically.
Those big, gigantic floating tubes where you can get three of you, and there's little seats you hold on.
Right. And it's like he was trying to kill them.
Pretty much, yeah.
You guys spent more time in the air than you did on the water. Can you explain? I mean, it was...
Well, I come from a family of 6 kids, and we were the 3 youngest. And Kelly was always like the cool one. And so, but if you wanted to keep his attention for longer than 30 seconds, you had to let him torture you. So, like, we would have to jump off the really high cliffs down at Lake Powell.
To play with him.
Yeah, if you wanted to go snowmobiling, it had to be through, like, a barbed wire fence. You know, you got to do these things in order to, you know. And so we were kind of basically used to the torturing all the way growing up, and I didn't realize it was really upsetting until we came back to the boat, and you're like, he was trying to kill you! And I'm like, oh, no, that's just Kelly.
Snap your head off.
That's just Kelly. That was really intense, though. I had forgotten that. I lost feeling in my hands for a couple of minutes.
Well, you know what's so funny, too? That, you know, when you're back in the wake of the boat, and it's all smooth and all good. The women, the girls, would be sitting there, and actually saw one, and we're still going, and we're about to do something crazy. And I remember one of them just going like this.
That was Jenny, just inviting it. Just inviting the flip.
He's doing this to torment him.
So the things would get worse, which I didn't think was possible until then.
And just when you thought it was over, it wasn't.
Yeah, we took air. That was bad.
So coming up...
I'm sure other siblings do this. Aren't you willing to do just about anything to keep, so that your brother will still pay attention to you?
So you can hang out with your
Nothing changes years later. It just doesn't.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were dead.
And
us with no insurance.
Why do you think I took off my wedding rings and everything and gave them to you?
And I went, oh, it's over. She's going under. Coming up, Eclipse, danger from Amazon.
Amazon.com?
We'll tell you next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
You shifted that back? Oh, no. It's Eclipse talk.
Ready? We're scientists. Go. All right. So I can't see you.
We really are going to have to find that actual photo that we wear the Eclipse glasses and do that.
So I'm looking at my glasses, and it says ISO, which is a stamp, but could be fake. And it tells you where they're from, gives you a phone number, so when you go blind,
you can
call
ask someone else to dial it for you.
Siri, call 866. So basically,
conforms to the transmission requirements of filters for direct observation of
Yeah,
the sun.
it's a federal measurement.
Well, it's scary. The John Moran Eye Center is recalling solar eclipse glasses after Amazon.com said it was unable to confirm, after all, that they came from a reputable manufacturer. As a matter of fact, the center was notified Sunday along with buyers across the country. Good for, by the way, Amazon.com.
Yeah.
They recalled a slew of the solar eclipse glasses that were sold on their site. They said, we didn't receive confirmation from the supplier that it was from a recommended manufacturer, so they're recommending you not use the product to view the eclipse. We'll pay all your money back.
Nice.
They said, we're just concerned because it's an abundance of caution, just because eye damage can be so severe. The Moran Eye Center is asking anyone who received a free pair of these solar eclipse glasses from its organization to discard them unless they have the Clark Planetarium label. Apparently those conform to the standards.
Right.
Anyone who purchased a pair for $1.50 from a Moran optical shop can return their glasses or the receipt to the location to get a full refund. Now here's the thing that is important. If you do want to make sure the glasses you have are safe, you can find all of the recommended vendors on nasa.gov. So you want to go and just double check and make sure that your manufacturer is on the list, and ours is, by the way.
Here's the scary thing, is that when you go and buy them, you don't just buy ones for you. You buy ones for your family.
Yeah, for your kids.
And if
nice
you're throwing
mom.
a party, maybe you'll get 20 pair. And you can imagine, it's like you're the one who brings the bad potato salad to the family gathering and poisons everyone.
Pretty much everybody's in the ER because of you.
Except this lasts forever, so I would check.
Once again, nasa.gov, just check and make sure that the label on your glasses is one of the recommended manufacturers. They're $1.50. It's not like they're going to charge you more for the right glasses, but just double check.
Good for Amazon. Good for Amazon.
I know, I'm kind of proud. And for Moran to bring it up.
Professor BYU says that we're screwed with our apps.
Well, think of your instant messaging apps, and there's a bazillion and 9 of them. And how safe are they? Now, this is interesting. On the bright side, there's a new BYU study said that the IM techniques are more secure than they used to be, but there's still a gaping hole that could leave you at risk without taking extra steps. This is from a PhD student who actually spearheaded the recent study, like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber. They allow you to send encrypted or secret messages. But the problem is those conversations are still way open to hackers unless you take the time to determine that the person on the other end of your message is authentic. Because it's very easy for hackers to slip in and then intercept the message. Now, it was interesting. He was showing how to check on the security keys on both ends of the conversation to make sure they match up. There's lines and lines and lines of numbers making up those keys. And he says you literally have to read all of the numbers to the other person. They have to be looking at their phone and say, yeah, those numbers match the numbers on my phone.
Yeah,
he said it can take up to 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
To match up all the numbers.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
So at this point, they're saying...
You're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah, he said, number one, at this point, don't send any really serious information. Don't send bank account numbers or PIN numbers or personal phone numbers to other people.
Or pictures of your butt.
Yeah, just don't send personal photos. He said, don't send anything you really wouldn't want anyone else to see.
Right.
He said, encrypted is nice, but it's not guaranteed, which to me sounds like a really sort of flattening, deathly statement. It's nice, but it's not guaranteed.
You know my favorite thing about cell phones?
I'd be sending pictures of my cat, and that's about it.
Here's my favorite thing about cell phones. And somebody says, oh, I got a picture of something I want to show you, right? And they pull up the picture. And that moment where they don't want you to swipe because they don't want you to see anything else.
Just hold it back.
And so you
just look at the cat.
Yeah, you hold it like, okay, I asked to see it.
Do you want to see this one?
Yeah, I want to see that.
Here, I'll show you this.
Let me see that. Let me.
You can just see it here.
And people get so nervous, and it's just great. And it's like, oh no, I'm just going to warm up the thumb here and get going. There's that moment.
Flick.
There's that.
Haven't you ever accidentally swiped though, where it just swiped and the next picture was not great, and you see their expression?
Right, but
it's a lot of fun.
Speaking of scams,
now what is this scam?
This is called the grandparent scam.
Uh-oh.
And that just seems rude.
Oh, the elderly are always at risk for ripoffs. I hate that.
85-year-old man followed the caller's instruction. The caller said that his grandnephew was in serious trouble, and he needed $4,000 being in a traffic accident. The 85-year-old man said, this doesn't sound like my great-grandnephew, whatever. And he goes, that's because I was in the accident, Grandpa, and I'm not feeling good.
I'm a little dazed.
And this is what can I do for you? And he goes, I want you to go to Best Buy and purchase gift cards. And then I told Green to say, if the store manager even tries to ask you why you're buying them, he told him what to tell the manager, because the managers know that this is a scam because people don't pay fines or hospital bills with
Best Buy gift cards.
Target's another big one. Target, the store, department store, people would go in
I'm
there.
sorry, if I were a Best Buy manager and someone came in for $4,000 in gift cards, I'd be going,
give it to them.
Are you sure let's talk this through.
I go home with them and get that person on the phone.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
And are grandparents falling for this?
Yeah.
Because they're not as familiar with...
Enough that it has become a major problem. Oh, here's the other one. You missed jury duty, so you have to pay a fine. And if you don't, the cops are going to come. Then you say, I didn't get a notice. Doesn't matter, sir or ma'am.
Oh, yeah, Internal Revenue Service saying that you owe a refund, and I owe payments, and you're going to get charged like a bazillion more if you don't pay it now.
So the 85-year-old man, the guy went back for another $4,000 with him. And so he lost about $7,000, which is groceries for them for like 6 months.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah, for a year.
You suck. Okay, so that's basically one I never would fall for, but you're right. It's worth talking to people maybe who are a little more vulnerable or
picking on old people.
A little sweeter. I know. How much more evil can you be? All right. This was actually really, really fun.
It was really fun. We went to Murray Park to meet with some people, and they had a special talent. Take a look.
All right, guys, come on.
You're gonna make us look bad enough already.
Can't we all just get along?
All right, introducing Zach, of course, associate professor down at Salt Lake Community College. And Joe, where do you teach, Joe?
I am the head of the theater and the film program at Skyline High School.
So the two of you met up and decided broadswords, that's the thing this summer. Now, you've been doing a lot of choreography for a lot of the productions around town.
We have, yeah. We've been working together for about 2 years, doing a variety of trainings, teachings, and choreographic shows.
Keeping people from killing each other.
That's the goal.
All right, so what am I holding?
This is a stage combat broadsword.
Okay.
The blade is aluminum, so it's very lightweight.
They always do this
For which
in
we're
the movies.
grateful. Yeah.
They always do.
Make
All
sure
right,
it's straight.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Most stage combat swords are made of steel, but I teach high school students, so
Right.
I wanted something a little bit lighter.
Nice.
So
I think
I
that
got
probably
aluminum.
is best for lawsuits. Yeah.
What era?
So these would be from the medieval times, no later than the 15th century. They would never be called a broadsword back then. They were just swords. These are mainly used for military and fighting battles. These are not things that you would have on your hip in day-to-day life.
Sharp?
Yes, very sharp. These are not, of course.
Right.
Now, when did this first start? You were saying during the Greek era it was primarily bronze, extraordinarily heavy, and they would just basically strike each other till someone fell down?
Yeah. There was no theory. It was all about athleticism and whoever had the most practical experience in battle. And you just wanted a big, heavy sword that you could swing really hard, and if you don't cut them, you're going to crush them.
You crush like an arm.
And then you went to short swords and rapiers where there was more like elegance and they were trying more for technique.
Yeah, so as we developed ways to pierce the armor, suddenly it wasn't as important to have 75 pounds of bulky armor. So we wanted our bodies to get lighter, we wanted our swords to get smaller and lighter. And so we're working our way up to very small needle-like weapons that are all about very quick thrusts.
It was funny, you were telling me that the French and the Italians got this, but the British and the Scottish were stubborn, and we just kept still hitting each other with broadswords.
Yeah, it definitely developed a different speed.
All right, I think we should see some moves, and you can describe what they are.
We're going to use weight shifts here because these are big, heavy weapons. So Zach is going to weight shift back as I weight shift forward, and he's going to do what's called a fishing line cut to my left arm. I'm going to pass back as he cuts to my left arm, and I'm going to parry. This is called a parry forward right here. And this target is going to be right below my deltoid muscle, 6 to 8 inches off my body. He's going to be casting his energy past that way, like you're fly fishing. So I'm never in any real danger. He's going to stop his sword no matter what, and I'm just going to bring it right here to parry. We're going to weight shift again, and this time he's going to attack my right leg.
I'm just going to bring the tip up into the air to keep it nice and safe as I weight shift back. Then I'm going to weight shift forward and attack his right leg.
I'm going to remove that target and come down and parry 2 right here. Okay, now he's going to do what's called a moulinet.
Drop the tip down and just turn my wrists.
I'm going to pass back, and I'm going to parry up here, parry 5. And at this point, I'm going to shunt his blade off mine. And we're going to go through a process where we make eye contact. I'm going to prep an attack. He's going to evade, and then when I see him start to evade, I'm going to attack through with a head swipe. And now he is going to do another Molinet. Yeah, I'm going to traverse. Oh, yeah, did we want to get here? Then we can stop right there.
I'm surprised no one called the cops. There's a slow motion
It was a
knife.
lot more realistic than we did.
Slow motion night fight going on in Murray Park.
It was kind of painful though that they actually showed us in the back row movie like 3,000 times slower than those two.
Well, it wasn't that way the whole time. Just a second. We're going to show you when they turn us loose what happens. But first of all, we want to say thank you for watching the Todd and Erin morning stream on GetPartDaily.com. Do not forget Todd's Pit Seasoning. Get it while it's hot. All right, this is what it looks like when Erin and I get to fight for real.
I'm going to weight shift forward as if I'm looking for an opening to attack him, but I don't see any, and he is prepping an attack, so I'm going to start passing back. So I'm going to bring my front foot behind me as he passes forward, and he is going to cast that blade past me. Okay? So I don't need to parry just yet. Yeah, there you go. So I'm never in any danger. The energy's all going out that way, and I just bring the strong part of my blade, which is the fort, right up against the foible of her blade.
Right.
So your blade's in 3 sections. Top up here is the foible. That's the offensive part. That's what you want to target me with. And then the bottom part down here is the fort. That gives you the most leverage.
Got it.
Okay. So we're parrying foible to fort. He's going to prep another attack.
Step up to the sky as I weight shift back again. Oh, I still have the advantage, so I'm going to pass forward.
And this time he's cutting to my leg.
So you're coming around the other side.
There you go.
Okay. And just right here.
Okay. And again, he's casting that energy pass. This time the target is just below our pocket. So perfect, right there. And then we bring the fort of our blade down here to meet his foible again.
Okay.
Okay. This time he's going to go for our head. So he's going to do a Molinet, which means little windmill.
So
it's like cream sauce.
I pass back, and I bring the fort of my blade up. So up and above and in front of my head right there. Okay, we're going to shunt by just moving our blade off to the side, knocking her blade away.
And that's a satisfying flippy sound.
Yeah.
And we're going to prep a head swipe up here by our head.
Got it.
We're going to make eye contact with our partner as we prep. He passes back, we pass forward. He ducks, and we swing through where his head was.
Remember the was, honey, when you're swinging,
and
please.
keep your eyes up at him in case he misses.
That's
right. And when you slice, keep your hand palm down the entire way.
Cool. All right.
That's really cool.
All right.
You want to try it one more time?
No, freestyle. All right, you guys go over here. We have to be at war.
I'm not going to do the dishes anymore. Have you know that? And clean up the dog poop in the yard. No. You have to come back and be mean.
Well, no, you're going to because I had to pick it up for the last 3 times.
All right, the fight's on. Stay here.
Come on.
This is the way we do it.
What is up with that crap? She's really pissed.
Come back here and fight.
Why did you do that?
Because you won't stop yapping about the dishwasher. It's finally time.
I'm sorry. You know what this means? This means you're going to have to take care of the kids yourself.
Oh, go get a medic.
Oh, it hurts coming out too. Oh, yeah.